Hello, Snake. I'm Paramedic. Nice to meet you. As in a medic who comes in by parachute. Are you going to tell me yours, Mr. Snake? And they call you Jack for short. You're a regular Captain Nemo. Jane Doe. I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive. My frequency is 145.73. That's right. It also records the state of your health. First, open the survival viewer with the start button. If you select Cure, you can start the treatment. Healing is divided into treatment using medicine with the item window button and surgical treatment using the weapon window button. Your injuries include a fractured left elbow and rib bone and lacerations on your upper arms, right elbow, and abdomen. They need to be fixed using surgical treatment. Move the healing cursor with the left analog stick to the affected part of your body. Once you've selected the affected area, hold the weapon window button and use the left analog stick to select the medical item and then press the enter button. With this method, you can use items to help your recovery process. To treat a bone fracture, first secure the affected area with a fastener and then wrap it in bandages. That should do it. For lacerations, you'll need disinfectant to clean the wound, sutures to stitch it up, styptic to slow the flow of blood, and bandages to wrap the wound. If you do everything I mentioned, the wound should heal completely. Understood? Stay with me. Go into the survival viewer and treat those wounds. She's right, Snake. You should get some sleep. Although in your condition, you really ought to be back in the ICU. Whenever you save the game and quit, you'll go to sleep. Sleeping allows you to gain back stamina naturally. Depending on how long you sleep, you may also recover naturally from sickness and injury. When you're tired or hurt, the best thing to do is just get some sleep. So do yourself a favor and take a nap. Doctor's orders, okay? Snake, can you hear me? So have you. Calm down, Snake. You'll both be fine as long as you get the proper emergency treatment. But you're the only one who can do this, understand? So you've got to calm down. Okay, now let's open up the survival viewer and treat the injury. Do you have supplies with you? Then by switching the survival viewer over to Eva, you can treat her wounds too. Now get to work. Oh, and Snake, I'm pretty sure you know this already, but if you don't have enough supplies for the both of you, your wounds come first. Do you get my meaning, Snake? You've still got a mission to complete. Snake? What about Eva? Good. Maybe it was from old age. Maybe. Saving the game, Snake? Do you want to save? You want to save? You want to save? Hold on a sec. You going to save? You want to save? I'll get right on it. Snake, are you saving? Snake, you want to save, don't you? Ready to save, Snake? Saving the game? Do you need to save? Should I save for you? Snake, do you want to save? Are you sure? All right. Okay, good luck, Snake. Chin up. Take care, Snake. Snake, I'm behind you 100%. Good luck. Snake, be careful out there. Hang in there. Come back alive, okay? You're hurt, aren't you? Don't push yourself too hard. I think you should take a rest. You're going to overexert yourself. You're wounded. You better take it easy. You're badly wounded. Don't you think you should rest a while? Take care, Snake. Just a little farther, Snake. Snake, come back in one piece, okay? I'll be waiting. Don't die on me, Snake. Snake, there's no memory card plugged into the memory card slot. You need a memory card to save the game. So put one into the memory card slot. Sorry, Snake. There doesn't seem to be any free space on that memory card. I couldn't save the game. Snake, you have to format it first before you can save. Didn't you want to save? I'm sorry. There was an error. I couldn't save the game. Snake, you want to save? You might not want to. Well, it just feels like something bad could happen. I hope so. Make sure you come back as soon as you can. Please, come back soon. Hey, Snake, you ever heard of Godzilla, King of Monsters? It's a movie. You haven't seen it? It's about this monster called Godzilla who grows to an enormous size in a nuclear test and goes on a rampage in Tokyo. It's just make-believe. Snake, it's a movie, not a report out of Los Alamos. Godzilla is immune to all weapons, and humanity has no way to stop the monster. Dr. Shirazawa develops a new type of weapon, but meanwhile, Godzilla is getting closer and closer to Tokyo, obliterating everything in its path. It was originally a Japanese movie, but they made an American version, too. I recommend seeing the original Japanese one if you ever get the chance. It's mostly mindless fun, but it's also got a serious anti-nuke message as well. You'll just have to go to Japan. Well, if you wait 40 years, you might be able to see it in America, too. 2004 will be Godzilla's 50th birthday. Of course! Everybody loves Godzilla. I don't suppose you're the movie-watching type, are you? Okay, then I'll tell you everything I know. When the going gets tough, movies can save your life. It's always good to be able to look at things from a different perspective when you get in a jam. That's the magic of movies. That's the spirit, Snake. Have a little fun. Snake, have you seen 007 From Russia with Love? Snake, I don't think the Major's going to like you saying that. Didn't you know? The Major is a huge James Bond fan. Don't get him worked up like this. Maybe you don't realize this, but now that you've got him started talking about Bond, I'm going to have to listen to him lecture for a whole hour after he gets off the radio. It's too bad you can't enjoy such a great movie, though. Snake, do you know the creature from the Black Lagoon? These scientists are investigating a place deep in the Amazon called the Black Lagoon, and they get picked off one after the other by this fishman thing. And there was this scene when the heroine is going for a swim and the creature sneaks up on her from underwater. Oh, I thought my heart was going to stop. I mean, of course, the 3D effects in It Came from Outer Space were a lot more intense, but how rude! Why do you say that? Fine, I'll just get to the point, Snake. Be careful of what's around you when you're in the water. Just imagining you swimming in those jungle rivers makes me think of you being attacked by a fishman. Fishmen aren't the only things that'll attack you in the water. Really be careful out there. And don't be attacking any pretty girls going for a swim, either. You started it. Snake, have you heard of It Came from Outer Space? So this astronomer sees a meteor, but it's really an alien spaceship, right? And the aliens start replacing the townspeople with clones and forcing them to help repair the ship. The 3D effects were quite realistic. No, you don't get it. Precisely because it's realistic, with the images jumping out of the screen at you, it makes for a nice escape from reality. I have to admit it made my eyes tired, but it was really intense. Unfortunately, they don't make very many of those movies anymore. I was still in college, so probably about 10 years ago. You know, they're coming out with household versions of video cassette recorders. One day you'll be able to see old movies anytime you want. It'll be like having a movie theater in your own home. It's like if you had a record with movie film etched onto it instead of music. It'll work the same way. No, really. And someday they might make movies where you control the characters yourself. It'll happen. Make sure you stay alive to see it, Snake. Snake, have you heard of The Last War? It's a Japanese movie where the world ends in a nuclear war. Tensions between East and West reach the breaking point, and before anyone can stop it, they launch the ICBMs. Humanity is wiped out by a war that no one wanted. The movie depicts that destruction from the eyes of ordinary people. Their simple daily lives are torn apart by the terrible power of a war that has nothing to do with them. That's why the people who have the power to stop it have to. Hey, Snake, have you ever seen Forbidden Planet? It's about this expedition that goes to the planet Altair 4 in an ultra-fast spaceship. When they arrive, they meet the survivor of the last expedition, Dr. Morbius. Dr. Morbius was exploring the planet along with his daughter Altera and the versatile Robbie the robot. Ignoring the doctor's warnings, the expedition team is suddenly attacked by an invisible creature called the Monster from the Id. The special effects they used for the science stuff were really neat. I wish I had a robot like Robbie that could make anything I wanted it to. Maybe someday you'll be able to turn invisible. Snake, have you seen Earth versus the Spider? It's about this spider that suddenly mutates into a giant monster. They bring it into the city in a state of hibernation, but it wakes up and starts wrecking the place. I told you, it suddenly mutated. Snake, it's people like you that take all the fun out of watching movies. Always nitpicking and taking things too seriously. Honestly, why even bother? Look, the important thing isn't that it got big. The fact that there's a huge spider destroying the city. Suspend your disbelief. That's the whole point of movies. Snake, have you ever seen On the Beach? It's about the survivors of the Third World War. The entire northern hemisphere is obliterated in a nuclear holocaust, and it's only a matter of time before the few survivors left in the southern hemisphere are poisoned by the deadly fallout. Their only hope is an American nuclear submarine that escapes to the southern hemisphere. They set out for the Arctic to investigate the fallout. The movie came out in '59, and the year that the war was supposed to happen was 1964. In other words, this year. Snake, have you ever seen the War of the Worlds? These flying saucers from Mars arrive on Earth disguised as meteorites. The saucers use their heat rays to attack the nearby towns. And then, the thing is, I was too scared to watch. I had my eyes shut almost the whole time. No, it's not that. It's based on a novel by H.G. Wells. That does remind me, though. When I was 2 years old, my father listened to the radio drama version of the story. It was right after dinner on Sunday, and we were relaxing in the living room. They said monsters had come out of a meteorite that landed in New Jersey. It sounded just like a real live news broadcast. My father said he and my older brother actually believed it and started yelling and panicking. My mother supposedly grabbed me from my crib and took me out to the car, still wrapped up in blankets. But then, just as my dad was about to start the car, he realized that it was all just a radio drama. Because on the car's radio, they were playing Bing Crosby tunes. No matter what station he turned to, no one else seemed to be reporting on this big history-making news story. Nobody said a word. We all went back to our rooms. My father and brother got off with a scolding from my mother, but I was the one who really suffered. After that incident, every time I acted up, my father and brother would scare me by saying, "The Martians are coming!" Isn't it, though? I saw it. So even nuclear weapons wouldn't work against the Martian war machines. Anyway, Snake, if you conceal yourself like the Martians did, the enemy won't know what hit them. Maybe not in a meteorite, but if you can hide yourself inside something a little more close at hand. Something like a box. I saw it, all right? Snake, have you ever seen For a Fistful of Dollars? It's a spaghetti western. It's really cool, especially the main character's stylish gunplay. I saw it in England on the Major's recommendation, but it hasn't come out in the States yet. It's so cool. They'll bring it to America, I'm sure. You have to see it sometime. Snake, have you seen the movie Them? It's about these giant ants that appear in the desert of New Mexico after a nuclear test. The army tries to fight them off with flamethrowers. The ants were so big that they filled up the entire screen. The whole movie theater was screaming. Yeah, well, if you find any, don't eat them. If you end up growing huge like that, you won't have any place left to hide. Snake, have you ever seen Jason and the Argonauts? It's based on Greek mythology. There's this ship called the Argo, and it sets sail in search of the Golden Fleece. Along the way, it encounters many dangers. They run into all kinds of monsters, like bronze giants and the deadly seven-headed Hydra and the vicious bird-like harpies. The most spectacular part of all was the battle scene with an army of skeletons. It was like they were actually standing up and fighting. If you don't believe me, go see it for yourself. Then you'll understand the magic of movies. It was totally amazing. It just came out, so I'm sure it'll still be playing. Snake, have you seen Dr. Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb? Dr. Strangelove. Have you seen it? It's about this insane American Air Force commander who sends a bomber out to drop an H-bomb on Russia. It's a black comedy. The actor who plays Dr. Strangelove also plays two of the other main characters. It's actually kind of funny once you get past the scary parts. It just came out this year, so I bet you could still go and see it. Snake, have you ever seen The Guns of Navarone? It's about a mission to blow up the huge guns on the island of Navarone during World War II. 6 men are chosen to participate in the operation, each with his own special ability. They only have until an English destroyer passes by the island to complete their mission. Facing impossible odds, the 6 men have to sneak onto the island from a cliff on the southern shore. Maybe not for you, but the Major was absolutely crazy about it. He told me to tell you how great it was. Do you want to tell him yourself? Yeah. Hey, Snake, have you seen 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? After a number of battleships mysteriously sink at sea, the American government investigates and finds that the culprit is this pacifistic Captain Nemo. The scene where the giant squid attacks Captain Nemo's submarine, the Nautilus, is breathtaking. The movie was filmed in CinemaScope, and it was great to see it on the big screen. What? Don't tell me you think it sounds tasty. Snake, have you ever seen The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms? It's about this monster that comes to life from deep within a glacier as a result of an H-bomb test in the Arctic. It crosses the ocean and emerges in New York. I especially like the scene where the monster attacks the lighthouse, and the one where it pops out of a valley in Manhattan and makes a big hole in a building. And the last scene on the burning roller coaster was simply incredible. And because I saw it in a drive-in theater, I actually felt like I was a part of the movie. It's funny, isn't it? How you can let yourself get absorbed into these things without thinking even when you know it's not real? Well, don't get too absorbed in your mission. It's important to take a rest every now and then. Snake, have you seen The Magnificent Seven? It's a remake of the Japanese classic The Seven Samurai, only in a Western setting. This tiny Mexican village is attacked every year by bandits. Finally, the village elder can't stand it any longer and decides to hire someone to protect the village. 7 gunmen respond to the call. They teach the villagers how to shoot and prepare for the oncoming attack. But then, the enemy shows up at the village with a huge band. You'll just have to see it for yourself. I don't want to spoil it. Movies are only fun when you actually watch them. There's something you have to experience for yourself. Hey, Snake, have you ever seen My Mother Was a Teenage Spider Queen from Mars? Neither have I. Which one? Oh, that. Sorry, the major was talking to me at the time and I wasn't really paying attention. Don't worry, I'll get it right next time. Snake, have you ever seen North by Northwest? It's about this ordinary guy who runs an ad agency. He's mistaken for someone else and gets kidnapped and forced to do a certain job. As a result, he gets tangled up in a conspiracy, and pretty soon he's traveling to New York, Chicago, and even Mount Rushmore in pursuit of the real culprit. Hitchcock's films always keep you on the edge of your seat, but sometimes they can be funny when you least expect it. That's why I love them. All of them? Oh, not even close. He's been making movies since before I was born. I guess I might have seen some of them on TV. But the first movie I ever saw in the theater was a Hitchcock film. We all went and saw it as a family. It was Rebecca. Yeah, my parents love watching movies, so they took me along. I didn't quite understand the plot, but for some reason I thought it was really scary. Actually, I remember the candy bar they bought me on the way home better than the movie itself. You could say that. It was like an irresistible force at that point. I was completely swept away. Snake, have you ever heard of the Blob? A meteorite falls in a small town, and inside there's this kind of living ooze. The ooze starts swallowing people and grows to an enormous size. After it eats a bunch of the townspeople, it starts to fill up a movie theater. Then these young people try to save the town from its gruesome fate. It's pretty frightening to see something that's not even supposed to be alive suddenly start moving around and eating people. Snake, you know the bridge on the River Kwai? It's about a group of Allied prisoners in Japanese-occupied Burma in World War II who worked together to build a bridge. Under the leadership of an English officer, the prisoners and the Japanese gradually bring the project toward completion. But at the same time, the Allied forces are hatching a plan to blow up the bridge. I suppose so. Actually, this guy invited me to go see it with him. I guess you could call it that. Well, he seemed to like war movies. He was a Navy boy. I was still an intern back then. They brought him in with a broken leg. He said, "When I'm all healed up, will you go see a movie with me to celebrate? If it's okay." He was so shy. With the 7th Fleet. Snake, have you ever seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers? It's about this town where one by one the people disappear and are replaced by someone else. It keeps getting worse and worse until finally the main character's friends and family start getting replaced. It turns out it was a giant plant thing producing human clones. Creepy, huh? A clone is a body or cell that's genetically identical to another one. They didn't use that term in the movie, though. It's technologically feasible. We know it's possible to do it in theory, and they've already started the research. One day, maybe toward the beginning of the next century, the genes of super soldiers like you are going to be a hot commodity. Precisely. Right. Maybe, but technology changes people. We can't predict how people will think 50 years from now. We're not the ones who decide that. I think maybe the only thing we can do is to try and pass on our beliefs to our children, so that they won't head in the wrong direction. Snake, have you ever seen The Alamo? It's a true story about a band of American volunteers holed up in a fort called the Alamo. They fight against the Mexican army for the freedom of Texas. Now the Alamo is Los Alamos, the center of the atomic bomb project. Snake, have you seen Curse of the Werewolf? There's this young woman who's in the service of a nobleman. She can't stand the cruel treatment she's given and runs away from the castle. She collapses in the woods but is saved by a scholarly couple from a nearby town. In the end, she dies giving birth to a baby boy. That boy undergoes a strange transformation every time the moon is full. Before he knows it, he's turning into a werewolf and killing people. The terrible curse grows so bad that he can no longer control himself and starts to hurt the ones he loves. It's frightening when you can't take responsibility for your own actions. You be careful too. Don't do anything you might regret later. It's more than just that. Don't you ever forget to look where you're going and rush out where the enemy can see you, or use too much ammo or too many items. Acting without thinking can be dangerous. Always pay attention to your surroundings and know what's going on around you. Huh? Snake, above you! Nice reflexes. Keep that up and you'll do fine. Snake, have you ever seen The Thing? The corpse of an alien life form is found in the Arctic and taken back to a base. When the corpse thaws out, it comes back to life and starts attacking the scientists and soldiers in the base. The victims in these kinds of movies are usually soldiers or scientists. They get their blood sucked by the alien. Knowing you, you'd probably catch it and eat it. Hey, Snake, have you ever seen Frankenstein? The scientist, Dr. Frankenstein, succeeds in creating a human being out of dead body parts. But his creation escapes from the laboratory and heads down to the nearby town. The creature is physically strong, but mentally he's like an innocent child. So his emotions drive him to kill people, and he doesn't even understand what he's doing. The scene where he's playing with flowers with a little girl by the side of a lake sent chills down my spine. Really makes you think, doesn't it? Especially nowadays. Snake, have you seen Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein? Abbott and Costello play delivery men who have to deliver a box to a spooky mansion. But what they don't know is that inside the box are Frankenstein and Wolfman. Then Dracula shows up and they get chased around by the monsters. It's a comedy with an all-star monster cast. Snake, have you seen The Incredible Shrinking Man? It's about this guy whose body starts shrinking after he's exposed to a combination of radiation and insecticide. After a while, he's being stalked by tiny spiders and his pet cat. Imagine that, Snake. The guy's body just keeps getting smaller and smaller. Yeah, so? Whether I'm a doctor or not has nothing to do with it. It's a movie. You can't expect it to follow the same rules as real life, can you? It's the same no matter who you are. Movies are fun because they take you away from your everyday life. Because they're not real. You need to loosen up, Snake. Although in your case, reality might be more exciting than the movies. Snake, have you ever seen the Quartermass experiment? These 3 astronauts go up in a test rocket. 2 of them get vaporized, but the third comes back with a bizarre change in his body. After conducting an investigation, they discover that the astronauts were attacked by an alien life form. But then the surviving astronaut escapes and starts looking for prey. Anything he touches with his hands has the energy sucked out of it. Every time that happens, his body gets bigger and bigger. Space is a scary place. You never know what's out there waiting. Yeah, that's what I've heard happens. Snake, have you ever seen The Day the Earth Stood Still? It's about this man who comes to Earth in a flying saucer and warns us humans against using nuclear power to make war. But when the human race fails to meet his demands, he causes all motion on the face of the Earth to come to a standstill. He was a friendly alien who wanted peace on Earth. Let's hope your wish comes true. Snake, the area you're in now is inhabited by snakes, birds, and other animals. You should also be able to find wild mushrooms, fruits, and vegetables. Oh, and butterflies, too. You'll also see frogs and butterflies, and the occasional crocodile. Crocodiles. They're called Indian gavials. They're extremely vicious, so don't get too close. There are frogs, too. That area is home to the reticulated python. The reticulated python is said to be the longest snake in the world. It's not venomous, but it still poses a threat, so watch out. I see you caught yourself a reticulated python. The reticulated python is said to be the longest snake in the world. The biggest ones can grow up to 10 meters in length. Although they're not poisonous, they're still very dangerous, so be careful around them. They have a highly ferocious temperament and they can swallow whole, even large animals like deer and pigs. Their most distinguishing feature is the mesh pattern of their scales. This pattern acts as a highly effective natural camouflage. If you think there might be a reticulated python about, pay close attention to your surroundings. Otherwise, you could get bitten before you even know it's there. It's a huge snake, but you should be able to capture it alive by using the tranquilizer gun. I'll bet if you capture one and throw it at an enemy, it'll give him a good scare. Huh? You're actually going to eat one. Cannibal. Nothing. Let's see what the guide says. Ah, you're in luck. It says they taste pretty good. Ugh. You've eaten one, haven't you? Cannibal. Nothing. Talk to you later. Snake, that area is inhabited by the giant anaconda. The giant anaconda is said to be the largest snake in the world in terms of weight and thickness. It's not venomous, but its huge size makes it dangerous. Be careful. I see you've captured a giant anaconda. The giant anaconda is believed to be the largest snake in the world in terms of weight and diameter. It's not poisonous, but its large size makes it extremely powerful. They say it even eats crocodiles. Its only natural predator is man. And snake. The giant anaconda is a very large snake, but you should be able to capture it alive using the tranquilizer gun. I knew you were going to ask me that. Well, the guide says it tastes all right. Ugh. The taste is... Oh, you've already eaten one. Ugh. Snake? I don't really care. Yeah, talk to you later. Snake, that area is inhabited by the green tree python. I see you caught yourself a green tree python. The green tree python isn't venomous, so no need to worry. It's fairly docile too, so I don't think it's likely to attack you. The green tree python originally comes from Australia and New Zealand. It's a really pretty green color and it lives... Oh my God. Snake, what did I just say? No, after that. I thought so. What was I thinking? Seeing a snake and calling it pretty? Everything! When a normal woman sees a snake, she's supposed to scream or get sick or something like that. What was that? Oh, it's all your fault. What do you mean enough of that? This is serious. How should I know? It was awfully pretty, though. Snake, be careful. That area is inhabited by coral snakes. Wow, you caught a coral snake. The coral snake is a venomous snake that originally hails from the Americas. Its venom is a very potent neurotoxin, so don't let it bite you. If you do get bitten, go into the survival viewer right away and use Cure to neutralize the poison with a serum injection. The colorful red and black patterns on the coral snake are a warning sign. Apparently, the bright flashy colors and pattern let other animals know that it carries a deadly poison that keeps them from attacking. There are many animals that mimic the colors of known poisonous animals as a defense. See, by mimicking other poisonous creatures, they increase their chances of survival. There is another non-poisonous snake called the milk snake that borrows its coloring from the coral snake. You're not even listening, are you? Okay, we'll talk about something you're interested in then. Yes. It says here that coral snakes are pretty good in a snaky kind of way. That area is inhabited by the milk snake. I see you've caught a a milk snake. The milk snake closely resembles the coral snake, but it's actually not venomous. Even so, you'll still take damage if it bites you, so don't get too close. It's pretty difficult. They really do look almost exactly alike. I guess if I had to pick something, I'd say it's that the milk snake is much less aggressive. Ah, I just thought of a better way. You're going to love this. Eat it. Yeah, the guide says milk snakes don't taste very good. It doesn't, does it? Shoot, I thought I had a good idea. That area is home to the Thai cobra. I see you've caught a Thai cobra. The Thai cobra is a large venomous snake that carries an extremely potent neurotoxin. Be careful not to get bitten. If you do get bitten, go into the survival viewer right away and use Cure to give yourself a serum injection. The Thai cobra originally comes from Indochina, Thailand, and southern China. The ones in that area were probably imported as pets and research subjects before they escaped and turned feral. Come again? They're not for eating. Ugh. That's not my point. It's not a matter of whether they taste good or not. People don't raise snakes for food, period. Only one way to find out. That area is inhabited by the Taiwanese cobra. I see you've caught yourself a Taiwanese cobra. The Taiwanese cobra is native to Taiwan and southern China. It's quite vicious and carries a potent neurotoxin in its fangs. Be careful. If it bites you, go into the survival viewer immediately and use the Cure option to inject yourself with serum. Don't ask me. The guide doesn't say. If you absolutely have to know, then you'll just have to try it yourself and see. But you were going to ask, weren't you? About the taste? I'll talk to you later, Snake. Snake, king cobras are making their home in the area you're in now. I see you've caught a king cobra. The king cobra is the world's largest venomous snake. Its large size means that it has a lot of venom to inject. One bite is supposedly enough to kill an elephant. And it's extremely vicious as well, so watch out. If you get bitten by a king cobra and injected with venom, your life will start to decrease rapidly. As soon as you're bitten, go into the survival viewer and use Cure to give yourself a serum injection. The king cobra's diet consists mostly of other snakes. Be careful, or you might end up as its next meal. What? How does it taste? Ugh, it seems you're the one whose diet consists of other snakes. The guide says they taste just fine. Ugh. Snake, there's supposed to be a Tsuchinoko in that area. You've never heard of it? It's a mysterious snake that's found all over Japan. Many people have seen them, but no one's ever caught one. If you do manage to catch one, it'll be a major historic discovery. I think you should look for it. The body is about as thick as a beer bottle, and the tail tapers off to a point. It doesn't slither around like other snakes, but rather goes in a straight line like an inchworm. Sometimes it even jumps several yards at a time. It's got sinister-looking eyes, and it can even blink and move its eyes around. It's also been known to snore, cry, and stand up straight on its tail. Of course. No. There's no such movie. I heard about it from Sigint. He's an expert on UMAs. Unidentified mysterious animals, dummy. Probably because he likes them. At the CIA, he was the vice president of an unofficial group called the UMA Watcher Club. Yeah, just the other day he was working on the newsletter at his desk. Well, the major is the chairman of the club. Snake, you caught a Tsuchinoko. That area is inhabited by Indian gavials. The Indian gavial is a large crocodile native to India and Nepal. It's extremely aggressive, so watch out. It's got a tough hide, so you'll have a hard time catching one. Capturing them alive is probably out of the question. I see you've captured an Indian gavial. The Indian gavial is a crocodile that originally lived in freshwater regions in India and Nepal. They're captive crocodiles that were brought here for research purposes but escaped and became wild again. Indian gavials are large creatures. Adult males grow to over 6 meters in length. You'll never catch one alive, even if you use the tranquilizer gun. Taste? Yes, I did look into that. You know what they always say. Tastes like chicken. Well, good for you. But be careful when capturing an Indian gavial. Normally they're cowardly creatures, but the ones in the forest there are belligerent. Apparently they attack humans. They weren't the direct subject of any serious research, but some think they may have become violent as a side effect of the atomic research that was conducted nearby. Snake, that's the home to the Otten frog. I see you caught an Otten frog. The Otten frog is a large, corpulent species of frog. They're known as a delicacy, so it might be worth catching them for food. The Otten frog was originally found only on Amami Oshima in Japan. Frogs usually have 4 toes on their front legs, but the Otten frog is unique in that it has 5. Right. I guess so. Glad to hear it. I hear that in Japan, Otten frog sashimi and sukiyaki are popular dishes. Yeah. Snake, that area is inhabited by the poison dart frog. I see you've captured a poison dart frog. The poison dart frog is native to the tropical rainforests of Central and South America. They normally grow between 2 and 5 centimeters in length, but for some reason the ones in that area seem to be much bigger than that. Poison dart frogs are known to carry a potent neurotoxin called pamiliotoxin. Long ago, people used the poison to coat their arrows for hunting. Watch out, because if you eat one, you'll get food poisoning. How? Never mind, I got it. Snake, that area should be inhabited by tree frogs. I see you've caught a tree frog. The tree frog is a green frog that's found throughout Asia. It's arboreal, spending most of its time in shrubs and bushes. Use the tranquilizer gun to catch one alive. I bet you could scare an enemy good if you tossed one at him. But the tree frogs that live in that jungle are a lot bigger than ordinary tree frogs. You've got a one-track mind, don't you? But seriously, that is one theory. However, there are people who think it's a mutation caused by nuclear testing and waste from the research facility. Is that all you ever think about? Lots. Like why a frog would get so big in the first place. Whether it's a temporary phenomenon created by a unique environment, or a permanent mark of evolution, or a product of the toxic waste coming out of the research facility. If it is the waste that's causing it, then it means humans are interfering with the ecosystem. It really makes you think about the changing relationship between... Oh, fine. Be that way. You mean, is it edible? Well, I guess it's probably okay. I don't know. The guide doesn't say anything. Well, try one for dinner and you can help improve it. That area is home to a small bird called the red avadavat. I see you've caught yourself a red avadavat. The red avadavat is a small bird native to southern China and Southeast Asia. This is its mating season, so the males ought to be a brilliant red color right now. If you want to catch one alive, use the tranquilizer gun. By catching one and then releasing it, you might be able to distract the enemy's attention. The what? You're not going to eat such a cute little bird, are you? Oh, no. How should I know? And they taste... You've eaten one already, haven't you? Oh, that's good. No sense of irony whatsoever. Nothing. Talk to you later. Snake, that area is inhabited by magpies. Magpies are dark blue and white birds with long tails that belong to the crow family. You should be able to capture them alive using the tranquilizer gun. I see you've captured a magpie. Magpies are members of the crow family. They're distinguishable by their beautiful dark blue and white bodies and their long tails. Their favorite food is insects, but they'll also eat small fish, acorns, and fruit. They're omnivores, which means, right, just like you, huh? If you use the tranquilizer gun, you should be able to capture magpies alive. You always ask me that. I've never heard of anybody actually eating a magpie, but I suppose there's no reason you couldn't. Oh, they taste, well, you should know since you've already eaten one. Oh, what a shame. Snake, I was being sarcastic. That area is home to the Sunda whistling thrush. I see you've caught yourself a Sunda whistling thrush. The Sunda whistling thrush is a bird native to Java and Sumatra. It's distinguished by its large blue body and long beak. It really stands out in the forest. If you're aiming to catch one alive, use the tranquilizer gun. How does it taste? I don't know. The guide doesn't say. I guess there's no reason you couldn't eat them. But it's nice and plump, so I'm sure it'd make a hearty meal. It tastes... Oh, you've already eaten one. There should be white-rumped vultures living in that area. I see you've captured a white-rumped vulture. The white-rumped vulture is a type of vulture found in India. Its diet consists mostly of dead animal carcasses. I don't think it'll attack you, but it's a fairly large bird of prey, so you probably won't be able to capture it alive using the tranquilizer gun. But there is something here that's bothering me. They say the white-rumped vulture doesn't just eat animal carcasses. It eats human ones as well. Yeah. So then if a person eats a white-rumped vulture, does that mean he's eating human meat too? What do you think? What kind of parrot? Then it's probably an Alexandrine parakeet. It's sometimes also called the Alexandrine parrot. The Alexandrine parakeet originally comes from Indochina and is distinguished by its green body and red beak. It's very talkative and makes a good pet. But it's strange. The guide doesn't say anything about there being Alexandrine parakeets in that area. I'm thinking it must be someone's pet that got away. Snake, don't even think about it. Eating a cute little bird like that. Just don't. Snake, that area is home to the big-eyed trevally. I see you've caught yourself a big-eyed trevally. The big-eyed trevally is a type of mackerel. The adult fish lives around coral reefs, but the young can be found in freshwater areas such as estuaries and rivers. The guidebook doesn't say. You'd think so, but... Well, I've heard stories about people getting ciguatera poisoning after eating the adult fish. Fishes that live near coral reefs are sometimes contaminated with a poison known as ciguatera toxin. It apparently gives you food poisoning when you eat it. I don't know whether those trevally are contaminated with ciguatera or not, but use caution just in case. Snake, it says here you can catch maroon sharks in that area. I see you've caught yourself a maroon shark. The maroon shark is found mostly in Southeast Asia, but it's not actually a shark. It's related to the carp. It's also known as the red-finned cigar shark, the river barb, and the sultan fish. According to the guide, it's good, but it's kind of oily and it has a lot of little bones. So I gathered. The taste is, well, you've already eaten one, right? That's all? You didn't mind all the little bones or how oily it was? Ugh. Snake, that river is inhabited by arowanas. I see you've caught yourself an arowana. The arowana is an ancient fish that lives in tropical freshwater areas. Because of its large size, I don't think you'll be able to capture one alive. Ancient fish like the arowana are living fossils. They've hardly changed their form since the Devonian and Jurassic periods. Other ancient fish besides the arowana include the coelacanth, the starlet, and the knifefish. Almost all organisms on Earth have evolved in various shapes and forms, but these fish have kept the same form for hundreds of millions of years. Baffling, isn't it? Well, I can see you're not interested. Why? You're wondering whether they'd make a good meal. The guide says they taste just fine for a fish. Why? Snake, that area is home to the Kenyan mangrove crabs. I see you've caught yourself a Kenyan mangrove crab. The Kenyan mangrove crab is a land-going crab. It lives in burrows dug near seashores and mangrove swamps. It's not poisonous, but it might hurt a little if it attacks you with its pinchers. Treat it with caution. Why do you say must? It is. What's so good about them? Not at all. Why? How can you eat those things? They're all purple and yellow striped, and they stink like cat pee. But that's just my opinion. Don't listen to me. Let's see here. The guide says, no way. It says they're delicious. Well, if you want to eat one, then go right ahead, but count me out. Snake, be careful. That cave is inhabited by vampire bats. I see you've caught a vampire bat. The vampire bat bites its victims and sucks their blood. Speaking of bats, huh? Actually, I was going to say that bats are known to use supersonic waves to sense their surroundings. Bats use supersonic waves to sense their surroundings, so you might be able to keep them away by blasting them with a special kind of sound wave. Alternatively, you could try equipping a torch and waving it around with the CQC button. As for taste, I suppose there's no reason you couldn't eat them. Snake, do you hate vampire movies? Just now, you sounded like you really hated them. Yeah, some people do. Yeah, they're fascinating, you know? Like the movie Dracula. Why not? Are you afraid? You're afraid of vampires, aren't you? But, well, sure. No. Right. Uh-huh. Okay. Snake, you will encounter Baltic hornets' nests in that area. I see you've got yourself a Baltic hornet's nest. Baltic hornets are a variety of hornets that inhabit that area. The difference between them and other hornets is that they produce honey in their nests. Inside the nests are larvae, pupa, and adults. You can eat them all. In particular, the honey you find inside the nest is delicious and full of nutrients. It's easy to digest and helps pep you up when you're feeling tired. In short, it's the perfect survival food. Honey can also be used as a burn ointment. When honey is applied to a burn, it creates a protective coating over the skin. When you knock down a hornet's nest, a burn ointment will appear along with it, so don't forget to pick it up. Of course, the hornets aren't going to give up their nest without a fight. If you knock a nest down, a large swarm of hornets will come flying out, so be careful. Snake, be careful. That area is supposed to be inhabited by cobalt blue tarantulas. I see you've caught a cobalt blue tarantula. The cobalt blue tarantula is a poisonous spider with a highly potent venom. If you get bitten, go into the survival viewer immediately and use Cure to administer a serum injection. There are many different varieties of tarantulas. The cobalt blue is part of a group called earth tigers. They build their nests mainly underground and are highly aggressive. Their diet consists of not only insects, but also mice and even snakes. Are you really going to eat them? It says here they're not very good. Don't act so surprised. Isn't it obvious? It's a spider, for goodness sake. A big one, but still a spider, and there's not much to it. If only it were as big as the one in Earth versus the Spider. Earth versus the Spider. It's a movie about this gigantic spider. When it's small, it's about 15 feet wide, but when it's big, it's about 35 feet wide. The size changes from scene to scene. It happens all the time. Snake, watch out. That area is home to the emperor scorpion. I see you've caught yourself an emperor scorpion. The emperor scorpion is said to be the largest scorpion in the world. Its venom is a potent neurotoxin, so take care that you don't get stung. If you do get stung, go into the survival viewer and use Cure to inject yourself with serum right away. Not very good, I'm afraid. Don't get so discouraged. There are other ways to use it besides eating it, right? Like catching one alive with a tranquilizer gun and throwing it at the enemy? Sometimes I wonder if you even remember that you were on a mission. Snake, that area is inhabited by markhors. I see you caught a markhor. The markhor is a kind of wild goat that lives in mountainous areas. It's quite large, so I don't think you'll be able to capture one alive, even with the tranquilizer gun. Speaking of which, do you know the origin of the name markhor? It means snake eater in Persian. Lost your appetite? It's supposed to be pretty good. Snake, that area is inhabited by European rabbits. I see you've caught a European rabbit. The European rabbit is said to have come from the Mediterranean region originally, but nowadays they're found all over the world. They've been used since ancient times as a source of food, so it might be worth catching them. Rabbits are known to eat their own excrement. That's right, it's called cecal feces. When the rabbit eats fiber, the fiber is fermented in the rabbit's appendix, or cecum, and turned into a nutritious substance full of vitamins. The rabbit excretes this substance and then eats it again to absorb the nutrients. Rabbits and humans don't work a little, yeah, I guess not. What? Oh. It seems the rabbits in that area have some kind of natural resistance to poison inherent in their system. If you capture one, you should be able to get some serum out of it. Try to capture a few. Snake, that area is inhabited by the Japanese flying squirrel. I see you caught yourself a Japanese flying squirrel. Japanese flying squirrels are non-venomous, and they shouldn't attack you. The head, front legs, hind legs, and tail of the Japanese flying squirrel are connected by a membrane of skin, which allows the squirrel to glide from tree to tree. It says here that if it catches a good wind, it can fly more than 100 yards. So, aren't you going to ask me? Not sure. The guy doesn't say anything about it. Gee, maybe it's because no one would ever think of eating a flying squirrel. Maybe you are. If only you were so enthusiastic about the mission. I didn't say anything. So long, Snake. Snake, there are rats living in that area. I see you caught yourself a rat. The rats in that area are the descendants of wild Norway rats that were domesticated by humans as pets and lab animals. They're not poisonous, and I don't think they'll attack you, but they're quick little creatures, so you might have a hard time catching one. Snake, they're rats. The guide says they're not that bad. Ugh. You'll find a fruit called the Yabloko Moloko growing in that area. The Yabloko Moloko is a variety of star fruit. It grows mainly on the branches of trees and is quite delicious. I see you found a Yabloko Moloko. Yabloko Moloko. It's a Russian name that roughly translates as milk apple. It's a type of star apple. The juice is thick and sweet, like milk, hence the name. And if you cut one in half lengthwise, you'll see a star-shaped ring radiating out from the center. Right, the star-shaped part has a gelatinous texture and is said to be especially tasty. You're welcome. Did you say something? Are you sure? It's supposed to be delicious. That's strange. No, it's your sense of taste. A fruit called the Russian false mango grows in that area. I see you found a Russian false mango. The Russian false mango is a mango-like fruit found only in Selino-Yarsk. The egg-shaped fruit is sweet and tangy with a pleasing aroma, just like a mango. See? Also, the seeds can be used to make a medicine that aids in digestion. It might come in handy if you ever have an upset stomach. Snake, there's a fruit called the golova growing in that area. The golova is a variety of jackfruit found only in Selino-Yarsk. It's big and tasty, so I think it'd be worth searching for. Looks like you found a golova. Yeah, it's a fruit that's found only in that region. It's related to the jackfruit, which is commonly found in Southeast Asia. Yep, he's a cannibal. I didn't say anything. I said, I'm sure you'd like it. Golova means head in Russian. It's probably called that because the fruit grows to about the size of a human head. It's supposedly pretty good to eat with a uniquely sweet flavor. The fruit itself is fairly large, so you could make a meal out of it. Naturally. Golovas grow directly off the trunk of the tree. If you're running low on stamina, it might be a good idea to keep an eye on the tree trunks. Snake, there should be vine melons growing in that area. I see you found a vine melon. The vine melon is a kind of melon commonly found in Selino-Yarsk. Like the name says, it's a melon that grows on a vine. The flesh is crisp and delicious. That's good. The vine melon is full of potassium and carotene, so it's good for you as well. Next time you see a vine, why not check to see if there's a melon growing on it? You should be able to find Russian oyster mushrooms in that area. I see you found some Russian oyster mushrooms. The Russian oyster mushroom is an edible variety that belongs to the shimeji family. It's known to be particularly rich in vitamin B1 and niacin. Apparently, it's usually found growing on tree stumps and hollow logs, so look there if you want to eat some. Really? I think they're great. You just lightly saute them in butter with some potatoes, add a little salt and pepper, and you're not. I'm just saying that. Snake, the uralluminescent mushroom grows in that area. I see you found some uralluminescent mushrooms. The uralluminescent mushroom is a mushroom found only in Selenoyarsk. It looks like a shiitake mushroom, and it's often found growing on the trunks of trees. Yep. I can't guarantee that it'll taste just like a shiitake mushroom, though. And it tastes like… What? Are you sure? I mean, of course it's poisonous. Says so right there in the guide. What? So how did it taste? What? Really? That's weird. The guide says it's… Don't worry, it's fine. It just happened to be wrong this one time. Snake, there should be fly agaric mushrooms growing in that area. I see you've found some fly agaric mushrooms. The fly agaric is a relative of the death cap mushroom that grows only in that region. You'll find it growing on the ground, but it's poisonous, so if you pick one up, don't eat it. If you do eat one, go into the survival viewer immediately and use Cure to take some antidote. The poisons found in the fly agaric include phallotoxins and amatoxins. It says here that when you eat it, the initial symptoms include nausea, stomach pain, and diarrhea. Finally, your liver and kidneys will break down into a sponge-like substance and you die. Isn't it? Huh? Were you listening to me? The fly agaric is poisonous. I give up. Snake, there's a mushroom called the Russian glowcap growing in that area. I see you found some Russian glowcaps. The Russian glowcap is a kind of luminescent fungus, a mushroom that glows in the dark. It's bioluminescent, just like a firefly. It uses the so-called luciferin-luciferase reaction. To put it simply, luciferin reacts with luciferase in the presence of magnesium 2+ ions, breaking it down into oxyluciferin and carbon dioxide. The carbonyl groups in the oxyluciferin are initially in an electrical excited state. When they return to their base state, they give off light. Did you get all that? Oh. Huh? Snake, your batteries are organic batteries. They produce electricity by utilizing the potential difference between cells. Organic batteries are known for their highly efficient energy conversion, but they still rely on chemical reactions between proteins and enzymes to… Believe what you want. Huh? You're serious? Nothing. What's up? About what? Huh? That's great. Snake, can you excuse me for a second? Did you just hear that? You mean like a placebo effect? Well, I guess there's no harm done. Should we let him keep believing it? Okay, Snake, I'm back. Yes, the Russian glowcap is a glowing mushroom, so it'll recharge your batteries when you eat it. There's a mushroom called the spatza growing in that area. I see you found a spatza. Spatza. Right. Hmm. Hmm. Huh. What? You really want to know? Okay, let's see. The spatza… It's gray, and it grows on the ground. That's all. That's all the guide says. Okay, so I don't know that much about it. Why don't you eat one and see? It might be pretty tasty. Shh! What if the rats hear you? You'll hurt their feelings. Really? How was it? It was that good. You were that tired? I know, I was just teasing you a little. Yeah? Really? How did it taste? Seriously? So that's why they call it the bringer of sleep. Oh, I looked the word spatza up afterwards and found out it means bringer of sleep in Russian. But anyway, the reason the spatza puts you to sleep when you eat it is because it contains a type of anesthetic substance similar to an alkaloid. The spatza appears to contain a type of vegetative alkaloid with anesthetic properties. Maybe if you soak a handkerchief or something in it, you could use it to put the enemy to sleep. I'll bet if you pick one, you could soak it into a handkerchief to create a sleeping drug. Eating a spatza and falling asleep might cause your life and stamina to recover as well. Why don't you find a safe spot and try it out? There should be a mushroom called the Baikal scaly tooth growing in that area. I see you found a Baikal scaly tooth. The Baikal scaly tooth mushroom is used as an antidote to poison. It usually grows on the trunks of trees, so look for it there. I think you're going to be disappointed. Oh, quit your whining. You know what they say, good medicine tastes bitter. You should be able to find Siberian ink cap mushrooms growing in that area. The Siberian ink cap is a mushroom in the ink cap family. It's known to be edible, so keep an eye out for it. I see you found some Siberian ink cap mushrooms. The Siberian ink cap is a mushroom from the ink cap family. Its life cycle is transitory. As soon as the spores mature, the cap starts to turn black, liquefy, and melt away. That's right. It doesn't really turn to liquid, but you get the idea. In its immature state, before it melts away, it's valued as a source of food. Really? Just be sure not to eat them while you're drinking alcohol. Ink caps contain coprin, which inhibits the function of aldehyde dehydrogenase. This prevents the body from breaking down alcohol, causing a buildup of acetaldehyde, meaning it will give you the hangover from hell. Huh? Wouldn't you? Well, I'm knocking a shot back now. Just teasing you. Oh, come on. Where's your sense of humor? I see you have a calorie mate. The thing you're holding now? Wasn't it? What? Hold on. You just ate something without even knowing what it was? Ugh. Try it, it's pretty good. Calorie Mate is an energy supplement that contains all the proteins, lipids, vitamins, carbohydrates, and minerals needed for a balanced diet. It's a well-balanced food. Because of that, it's just perfect for giving your body the nutrition it needs in combat. Real astronaut food is not very good, but that should taste fine. It's easy and quick to eat, so it's perfect when you're running late for an important mission in the morning. Really? Aren't you always keeping people waiting? It's easy to keep track of your calorie intake and receive the nutrition your body needs, so it's good for losing weight, too. All of the geisha girls in Japan use it for watching their calories. Right, and any diet where you eat nothing at all is bad for the body. Yes, I love Japan. You got some instant noodles, huh? Uh-huh. It was invented in Japan just recently. Add some hot water and it's ready to eat. It's cheap and can be stored for a long time, and besides, it's delicious. It's like a miracle food. Speaking of which, are you going to eat that? Oh, all right. No, that's not what I meant. I was just going to say that if you weren't going to eat it, you should bring it back to me. I've always wanted to try some. Looks like you're in a building. If people are living there, there's bound to be people food. Soviet military rations. It beats eating raw snakes and mushrooms all the time, doesn't it? You really are turning into an animal. Snake, you should be able to find some rations in that area. I see you've got yourself a ration. Rations are portable meals carried by Soviet soldiers. Huh? It looks like the rumors are true. Hey, you should be grateful. Those things are designed to last. No matter how long you keep a ration, it'll never go bad, and they're surprisingly good for you, too. You are hopeless. There should be an herb called Chinese plantain growing in that area. The Chinese plantain is an herb that resembles a plantain root. The leaves and seeds contain large amounts of aucubin, choline, and tannin. When you mash it up and apply it to a wound, it helps stop the flow of blood and eases the pain a bit. The Chinese plantain becomes a styptic when you pick it up. If you see one, don't forget to take it with you. Snake, I think there's a plant called Slav horehound growing in that area. Slav horehound is an herb in the horehound family. It contains large amounts of diterpene, flavonoids, and alkaloids, which give it strong germicidal properties. If you find one, it should make a good disinfectant. You should be able to find ezocomfrey in that area. Ezocomfrey is a plant in the comfrey family that's found only in Selinoyarsk. If you find one, you can use it as a cast to treat broken bones. The roots of the ezocomfrey are extremely sticky. You can use them as a kind of plaster cast to fasten the affected area in place. There's an herb called the amur kudzu growing in that area. Amur kudzu is a member of the bean family and a close relative of the kudzu weed. The roots contain a number of isoflavones such as daidzein, which give it strong fever-reducing properties. It'll make a good cold medicine if you find some. Yeah? Yeah, it's an anti-anxiety drug related to benzodiazepine. It's a minor tranquilizer used to treat things like depression, autonomic ataxia, and aporioneurosis and things like that. Besides its calming and antidepressant properties, it's also known for its anti-convulsant effect. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. What are you talking about? Oh, I see. That's an interesting idea. I think it might work. Give it a try. Life medicine is a drug recently developed by the Soviet Union for use in battle. The components are still a mystery, but it seems to activate the body's regenerative processes and makes injuries heal fast. Press the enter button to instantly replenish your life. Useful, huh? Huh? What's wrong, Sigint? What? You've never heard of Gakko. You must live in a cave or something. Why? Camo index, schmammo index. He's wearing the Gakko suit. Because it looks cute. Are you serious? You mean you've never heard of zombies? You guys don't know anything. A zombie is a dead body that's been cursed and brought back to life by a master of black magic. Supposedly, they revive the dead and use them as slaves. It's also seen as a kind of punishment. People who commit terrible crimes can be forced to labor even after they're dead. I saw it in movies. Like White Zombie. Never seen it? How about Plan 9 from Outer Space? You can't just focus on the things you like all the time. You have to expand your horizons, try new things. You guys need to get out more. You don't need to change anything. It makes them look awesome. Doesn't it? It does make you look cool. Snake, what are you? It looks cool. It looks cool on you. Yeah. Why? What's wrong with it? No. I think it really does look good. It reminds me of the alligator people. The Alligator People. It's a science fiction movie. You've never heard of it? Oh, well, you should see it sometime. It's about this guy who gets hurt in a car accident and tries to heal his wounds by injecting himself with a crocodile serum, but then his head turns into a crocodile head. You look just like him with the mask on. That's awesome! Huh? Snake? Snake? Did you get cut up? Snake, have you ever heard of Renfield? It's the name of a character. He's locked up in a cell waiting for the master to return, eating the spiders that crawl along the walls. He waits and waits for ages. Finally, just as he's beginning to forget whether he's human or not, the master comes for him, saying the time has come. Renfield is overjoyed. The master spreads his huge wings and a gust of wind fills the cell. And there, standing before Renfield in human form was... Exactly! If you stay there too long, your old buddy Dracula's going to come and get you too. So you better start thinking of a way out of there. You better not leave me without someone to talk to. Please, Snake, think. There's got to be a way out of there. Okay, just let me know if you start having nightmares about Dracula. Snake, what happened? Are you not feeling well? Ah, you didn't really dream about
Don't.
It must be a form of persecution complex, probably triggered by extreme stress. The external stimulus of the room is... But I didn't... I'm sorry, Snake. I didn't know you were that sensitive to it. I mean, who'd have thought Sorry, that just slipped out, I swear. Come on, Snake, don't be mad at me. Really? Good, I'm glad. Snake, there must be a way out of there. Don't get discouraged. You'll find it. Snake, your life will naturally recover even if you're wounded. But how fast it recovers depends on how much stamina you have. If your stamina is low, your life will recover more slowly. If you want your wounds to heal, you should eat something first and replenish your stamina. You can make your life recover faster by staying in a crouching or lying position. If you get injured, find some place where you're safe from enemy attacks and let your life recover, okay? When you have a serious injury, like a gunshot wound or a burn, your maximum life will decrease. So if you're seriously hurt, go into the survival viewer immediately and use Cure to treat it. Snake, you run a higher risk of getting seriously injured if you're hit by an attack at close range. If you're engaging in proximity combat, use caution. If you get seriously injured, go into the survival viewer and treat it right away. Snake, keep an eye on your stamina gauge. When you run low on stamina, you won't be able to fight at full strength. You'll recover less life and your aim won't be as steady. Don't let that happen to you. Use the food option in the survival viewer to eat some food and replenish your stamina. Ocelot's pistol uses really powerful bullets, and he's a crack shot too. So if he hits you, you'll probably be severely wounded. If you get seriously wounded, go into the survival viewer right away and treat it with Cure. Got it? It looks like there's a hornet's nest up there. If it falls down, you'll be attacked by the hornets inside. If you get attacked by hornets, swing your survival knife around or use a smoke grenade to drive them off. Wearing light-colored clothing can also be effective. You could also try throwing the hornet's nest or using a white phosphorus grenade. There's a hornet's nest over by Ocelot, too. If it drops on him, it might just create an opening. Try shooting it down. What's wrong? Are you hurt? Then what? The hornets? Well, hornets use the figure-8 dance to signal that they found food. Yeah, like flowers or nectar. I don't know, but at least they're not attacking you, right? I think it's best to just leave them alone. You've got bigger things to worry about, like ocelot. You can beat 'em, Snake. Snake, you've got bullet bees burrowing inside your body. Snake, watch out for those bullet bees. Bullet bees are the name the pain gives the special hornets he raises inside his own body. And if they get into your body, your wounds will become worse and worse until you get rid of them. If you're afflicted by bullet bees, go into the survival viewer immediately and use Cure to dig them out with your knife. Once the bullet bees are out, don't forget to apply styptic and disinfectant to the wound. When the pain hits you with alarm pheromones, the hornet's attacks will become more aggressive. They'll assault you more often, so be careful. If you get covered in the alarm pheromones, you should go into the survival viewer and change your clothes immediately. Be careful. If you're attacked by a swarm of hornets, your life will steadily decrease. Snake, you won't be able to see a thing with a swarm of hornets covering your head. The hornets can't follow you into the water. If you find your vision being blocked by a swarm of hornets, dive into the water. You could also try driving them away with the smoke from your cigar. Waving your torch around with the CQC button should also work. You might be able to trap some of the hornets by throwing a hornet's nest at them. If you succeed, it should reduce the number of hornets the pain has at his disposal. It might even make the nest taste better. Try it out. Hornets are known to display extremely aggressive behavior in response to the color black. So don't wear black clothing. Instead, try wearing white clothing. It should reduce the severity of the hornet's attacks. Using insecticidal bug juice on yourself should make the hornet's attacks less severe. Try it out. When the hornets come to attack you, you can cause the swarm to scatter by shooting at it with your gun. Also, the hornets can't follow you into the water, so you can get away by diving into the water. Hornets are also vulnerable to fire and smoke. You can keep them away from you by using a smoke grenade. Swinging a torch around using the CQC button should also work. You've been shot with a poison bolt. The poison is spreading throughout your body. Your life is going to keep decreasing unless you do something about it. Hurry and neutralize the poison. Go into the survival viewer and use Cure to give yourself a serum injection. The rabbits in that area have poison-resistant properties. Capture a rabbit and use it to get serum. The serum will neutralize the poison, but don't forget to treat the bolt wound itself as well. To treat a bolt wound, you'll need your knife, a styptic, and a disinfectant. Use your knife to dig out the bolt, and then apply styptic and disinfectant to the wound. Follow those steps and the wound should heal right up. Now start the treatment. Hurry! If you're hit with a poison bolt, the poison will enter your bloodstream. Unless you neutralize it with serum, your life will just keep diminishing. If you're hit by a poison bolt, go into the survival viewer immediately and use Cure to give yourself a serum injection. You can get serum by capturing the rabbits that live in that area. After you neutralize the poison with the serum, don't forget to treat the wound itself, too. The fear coats his poison bullets with venom from the Brazilian wandering spider. The Brazilian wandering spider is said to have the deadliest venom of any spider in the world. It's a potent neurotoxin, so if you get hit by one of the fear's poison bolts, go to Cure in the survival viewer and inject yourself with serum immediately before it kills you. The rabbits in that area have antibodies that protect them against the venom of the Brazilian wandering spider. They probably built up an immunity from the fear using them to test his poison bolts. Catching one of those rabbits will give you some serum. If you run out of serum, go catch a rabbit. If he shoots you with one of those tranquilizer rounds, you'll start to lose stamina fast. When your stamina gauge reaches 0, you'll pass out. If you're hit by a tranquilizer round, go into the survival viewer right away and treat the wound. Use your knife to dig out the needle. If you're hit by one of the end's tranquilizer rounds, the tranquilizer needle will stay stuck in your body. Until you remove the needle, you'll keep losing stamina rapidly. When your stamina reaches 0, you'll lose consciousness. You've got to dig that needle out. To get the needle out, go to Cure in the survival viewer and use your knife. You'd better take care of it before you pass out. Now get to it! If you run out of stamina, you won't be able to resist the effects of the end's tranquilizer rounds and you'll end up falling asleep. Hunt for food on a regular basis to keep your stamina level up. If you start to run out of food or ammunition, you should think about leaving the woods and coming back later. In any case, always keep an eye on your stamina gauge. You'll thank me later. Snake, those snipers will be aiming right for your vital spots. They're precise, and you're likely to be seriously wounded if you get hit. Use your camouflage to sneak past them without being seen. Snake, watch out for the Fury's flame attacks. Those flames are incredibly intense. If you get blasted at close range, it's likely to result in a severe burn. If you get burned, go into the survival viewer right away and use Cure to treat it. The tunnel looks like it's getting pretty hot. That's what happens when you use such a powerful flamethrower in an enclosed space. In that kind of heat, you'll lose stamina more quickly than normal. Be sure to eat something to replenish your stamina before you get too exhausted to fight. Look closely at the ceiling on the west side. See the sprinklers? If you shoot them, they'll start spraying water. You can use the water to put the flames out if you catch on fire. It should also lower the temperature of the room, so you'll lose less stamina as well. Try it out. If your body catches on fire, you can put it out by rolling around repeatedly. You can also go into the survival viewer and change out of the burning clothes. As long as you put out the flames right away, you shouldn't get burned. So if you catch on fire, take care of it immediately. Snake, you've been burned. The way to treat a burn is with ointment and bandages. Put both of those on, and the burn should heal right up. Treat it quickly. Snake, you've got a bad burn. Burns happen when you're engulfed in flames or get caught in an explosion. When you've got a burn, your maximum life will go down depending on its severity. Burns heal naturally over time without you doing anything, but if you go into Cure in the survival viewer and treat the burn, you can heal it instantaneously. To treat the burn, lightly spread the ointment over the wound and wrap it in bandages. If you do both of these things, you can heal the burn altogether. Snake, without any decent weapons, you'll just get yourself injured in a fight. You don't have enough medical items either. Forget about fighting and just run, okay? The enemy has sent out attack dogs after you. You won't stand a chance against them in your present state. Just keep running north. You might be able to distract the attack dogs by throwing food at them. Give it a shot. Snake! Snake, what happened? Talk to me! Snake! Snake! Snake, answer me! Snake! Snake! Snake, are you okay? Snake! Snake! Snake, you have to get up! Snake! Snake! Snake? Oh my God! Snake! Snake! When Volgan is discharging electricity from his body, you'll get electrocuted just by touching him, so you can't grab him with CQC. When Volgan isn't discharging electricity, however, that's your chance to use CQC. Attack Volgan whenever you see an opening. Volgan's electric attacks are intense. If he attacks you at point-blank range, you could get burned. If you get burned, go into the survival viewer and treat it using Cure. Look, there are sprinklers on the ceiling. As long as they're activated, Volgan will think twice before using his shock attack. Snake, Volgan said he hates rain, right? If you show him something that reminds him of rain, it might shake him up a little. How about a tree frog? Snake, what if you put on that mask? You might just be able to shake Volgan up. Never mind, just do it. Snake, you're running out of time. The C3 is about to explode. Hurry up and defeat Volgan. What were you thinking? I thought you were better than that. Snake, the enemy is hot in pursuit. If they catch up to you, you're dead. You've got to get away from them. While you're riding in the sidecar, lying down won't cause your life to recover gradually like usual. If you need to restore life, use the life medicine. Snake, you have to shoot all those C3 charges before the Shagohod gets across the bridge. Aim carefully. You can take pentazamine to keep your hands from shaking. Snake, the Shagohod! There's no time left! Blow up the bridge, quick!
Snake!
The Shagohod's weapons are deadly. You're likely to get seriously hurt if you get caught in its sights. If you get injured, go into the survival viewer and take care of it immediately. Snake, pay attention to Eva's life gauge. Make sure you don't attack her by mistake. Snake, you're almost to the lake. Hold on just a little longer. I can't believe you! You can treat Eva's wounds by selecting Eva from the Cure screen in the survival viewer. If she gets injured, see to her right away. Got it? It looks like it's raining out there. Be aware that you burn up a lot more stamina than usual in the rain. If you want to conserve stamina, then you should find some shelter. Is there any place that'll keep the rain off your head? It started to rain, huh? You burn a lot more stamina than normal when it's raining. Be sure to eat on a regular basis to keep up your stamina. You and Eva are both exhausted. You need to take it easy. If you find a good place to hide, like tree hollows or bushes, lie low and let your life recover. Got it? Snake, don't forget about Eva's stamina. She'll collapse from exhaustion if she runs out. If Eva's stamina starts to run low, go into the survival viewer and give her something to eat. To give her some food to eat, select a food item from Food and press the Enter button. Then select Eva. But don't give her anything rotten or poisonous. I see it started to rain. You burn through stamina a lot faster when it's raining. It'll also reduce your visual range and make it more difficult to sense where the enemy is. Be careful. Snake, your escape is going to be a test of endurance. If you find edible plants or animals, be sure to catch enough for Eva to eat too. Snake, Eva's all out of stamina. Quick, give her something to eat. Snake, Eva's badly injured. Hurry and treat her injuries. Snake, the lake is just up ahead. You can make it. You've given her treatment, but Eva is still badly injured. Don't stray too far from her side. If you get too far apart, she might just sit down and refuse to move. Make sure Eva stays with you on your way to the lake. Snake, pick up the gun already. Trust your instincts. Yes. You're far from okay. Look at your life gauge. You're on your last leg. Find a hiding place and get some rest. Your life gauge will gradually recover with time. But the speed of your life gauge recovery depends on the level of your stamina gauge, so get plenty to eat, then get some rest. You hear me? Do you hear me? You sound happy. Do you know how to eat it? Then let me explain. To eat food, press the Start button to enter the survival viewer, then select Food. Select the food you want to eat and press the Enter button. Select Eat and you will eat the selected food. When you eat, you will recover your stamina, but the extent of recovery depends on what you eat. When your stamina is down only slightly, you should save your tastier morsels for later. But don't leave food for too long or it'll rot. This is where a little planning ahead goes a long way. The gauge below your life gauge is your stamina gauge. It shows, as the name suggests, your remaining stamina. As you consume stamina, your natural life regeneration is slowed and your hands shake more. Your O2 gauge and grip gauge also become shorter. Excessively low stamina can often impede your mission objectives. Make sure you replenish stamina before that occurs. Eat food to recover stamina. Capture plants and animals to get food. I have information on the local plants and animals, so don't hesitate to ask. My frequency is 145.73. Exactly. Walking slowly will conserve stamina, while actions like rolling, crawling, and stalking consume large amounts of it. Try your best to avoid unnecessary actions in order to conserve stamina. When you get hurt, your body will heal itself naturally over time. However, the speed at which your life recovers depends on how much stamina you have at the time. The more stamina you have, the faster you'll recover. So if you want your wounds to heal quickly, you should eat something and replenish your stamina first. You don't have to act tough. Really? You lose your grip strength after only a few seconds when hanging. I'll bet you can't even hold your gun straight. Your body is exhausted. Look at your stamina gauge. It's almost empty, isn't it? You can't continue your mission in this state. You need to eat something and recover your stamina. You've got some food, don't you? To eat food, press the Start button to enter the survival viewer, then select Food. Use the left analog stick to choose the food you want to consume and press the Enter button to eat it. You'll have to put the mission on hold for a little while. First, you've got to capture some food. Did you hear me? Go hunting! Such as taking a rest. To take a rest, all you have to do is save and exit the game. The next time you load your saved data and continue the game, your stamina and life will have recovered. How much they recover depends on how long of a rest you take. That's right. If you're so exhausted that you don't even have the strength to find food, save the game and take a rest and you'll be back on your feet. So do I, but you never know. Just don't forget, okay? If you're attacked by hornets, wiggle the left analog stick around or wave your survival knife to shoo them away. Waving a torch around with the CQC button should do the trick too. Smoke is another useful tool in keeping hornets away. If you're attacked by hornets, I'd advise you to try using a smoke grenade. And if you use the insecticidal bug juice, the hornet should stay away as long as the effect lasts. Hornets are prone to becoming agitated and aggressive when they see the color black. Their attacks will be more vicious if you're wearing black clothes. If you're attacked by hornets, you should change into white clothes. You'd probably break your legs, and if you really screw up, you could get hurt even worse. Snake, what are you doing? Hurry up and treat those wounds. Snake, you're not done treating yourself. Go back into the survival viewer and treat the rest of your wounds. That's where I come in. To treat an injury, first press the Start button to open the survival viewer, then select Cure to start the treatment. Healing is divided into treatment using medicine with the item window button and surgical treatment using the weapon window button. Treatment with medicine involves administering oral remedies and serum injections. You'll use this treatment method when you have food poisoning or when you've been bitten by a venomous animal. Surgical treatment involves applying surgical techniques to injured areas. You'll use this method to take care of burns and gunshot wounds. As long as you do everything you're supposed to, your injury should heal completely. Be sure to follow the proper procedures. Any foods you catch will gradually spoil over time, even if you store it in your backpack. Some types of food spoil faster than others. Animal and fish meat goes bad relatively fast, but plants and mushrooms generally last a little longer. Animals won't go bad if you capture them alive, though. You can tell whether food has gone bad or not by looking closely at the icon on the food screen in the survival viewer. So be sure to check the icon before you eat the food. If you eat spoiled food, you'll get sick and end up with a stomachache. It'll get better eventually if you leave it alone, but that means you'll throw up and lose a lot of stamina. If you get a stomachache, go to Cure in the survival viewer and take some digestive medicine. Snake, do you have a stomachache? You'll get a stomachache if you eat something rotten. To cure a stomachache, go into Cure in the survival viewer and take some digestive medicine. It sounds like you've got food poisoning. Food poisoning is caused by eating poisonous food. When you have food poisoning, your life will continuously decrease. If left untreated, you'll eventually throw up whatever it was you ate. That'll get rid of the food poisoning, but you'll also use up a lot of stamina. So it's a good idea to treat it yourself before you vomit. To cure food poisoning, go into Cure in the survival viewer and take some antidote. Digestive medicine and antidotes aren't the only ways to cure stomach aches and food poisoning. You can also induce vomiting. Go into the survival viewer and press the viewer button to enter viewer mode. Then rotate the right analog stick to spin your body around, and eventually you'll start feeling queasy. When you get dizzy enough, exit the survival viewer and you'll throw up. That should get rid of any stomachache and food poisoning you have. Give it a try. Do you really expect me to say yes? Snake, unlike the Virtuous Mission, this is a night operation. You'll be encountering nocturnal animals that you didn't encounter your last mission. Some of them are venomous, like the king cobra, so be careful. If you get bitten by a venomous animal, the poison will spread through your body and rapidly drain your life gauge. If that's the case, go into the Cure screen in survival viewer immediately and inject yourself with serum. Got it? Snake, have you been bitten by a venomous animal? It looks like the poison is already starting to affect you. Unless you cure it, your life will just keep decreasing. You've got to treat it now. To cure poison, go into Cure in the survival viewer and administer a serum injection. Then you had better go find some quick. The enemies in that area might have some. Hurry! The animals in that area might have the ingredients to make serum. Go catch some. Snake, you're poisoned. When you're bitten by a venomous animal such as a snake or a spider, or hit by a poisoned arrow, the poison will start to affect your body. Your life will decrease with each passing minute, so cure the poison as soon as possible. To cure poison, go into Cure in the survival viewer and inject yourself with a dose of serum. You can get serum from enemies. Either hold them up or shake their bodies down after you defeat them. I'm pretty sure you can also get serum by capturing the rabbits that live in that area. You can capture animals alive by using the tranquilizer gun or a mousetrap. When you capture a live animal, you can carry it on you as a weapon by going to Backpack in the survival viewer. Once an animal is on your person, equip it and press the weapon button to throw it. Throwing a venomous animal at an enemy might be enough to knock him out. Even non-venomous animals like frogs can be used to distract the enemy's attention. And since I know you're going to ask me, yes, keeping animals alive prevents them from rotting and makes them taste better when you eat them. Remember, though, you've only got 3 cages for capturing live animals. Treating serious wounds will require you to use additional medical items besides your knife and cigar. That's why it's always a good idea to carry as many medical items with you as possible. If you start to run out of medical items, find some more as soon as you can. The enemy should be carrying medical supplies as well. You can get them by holding up enemy soldiers and shaking down their bodies. Snake, be careful when you approach the enemy. The closer you are to them, the more accurate their shots will be, and the more damage their weapons will do. That means you've got a greater chance of getting seriously wounded. Daring frontal assaults are not a good idea. But if you do get seriously injured, go into the survival viewer and treat it immediately. Snake, you've got a gunshot wound. The way to treat a gunshot wound is to dig out the bullet using your knife, disinfect the wound, apply a styptic, and bandage it up. Follow all those steps and the wound should heal nicely. Take care of it quickly. Snake, you've got a gunshot wound. When you get shot, you'll sometimes suffer a gunshot wound. The chance of suffering a serious injury is especially high at close range. When you have a gunshot wound, your maximum life will decrease depending on its severity. Gunshot wounds will heal naturally over time, but if you want it to heal faster, go into cure in the survival viewer and treat it. To treat a gunshot wound, you need to dig out the bullet with your knife, disinfect the wound, and apply styptic, then wrap it in a bandage. When all that's finished, the gunshot wound will be fully healed. Snake, you've got a nasty cut. To treat a cut, you need disinfectant, styptic, sutures, and a bandage. As long as you use all those items, the cut should heal up completely. Hurry and get it fixed up. That's a nasty cut you've got there. Cuts happen when you get slashed with a knife or other sharp object. When you have a cut, your maximum life goes down depending on its severity. Cuts heal naturally over time, but if you go into cure in the survival viewer and treat it, it'll heal instantaneously. To treat a cut, you need disinfectant, styptic, sutures, and a bandage. As long as you have all those things, the cut should heal up nicely. Snake, you've got a broken bone. Broken bones can be fully healed by fixing the affected area in place with a fastener and wrapping it in bandages. Do it quickly. I see you've got a bone fracture. You'll suffer broken bones if you jump from too high a place or get hit with a severe blow. When you have a fracture, your maximum life goes down. Fractures will heal little by little over time, but you can heal them right away by going into cure in the survival viewer and following the necessary procedure. To treat a bone fracture, first secure the affected area with a fastener and then wrap it in bandages. That should do it. Oh, you've got a terrible cold. You'll catch a cold if you hang around too long without any clothes on or spend too much time in the water or the swamp. When you catch a cold, your stamina goes down more rapidly. You'll also sneeze from time to time, and the noise can alert enemies to your presence. Plus, your body will shake, so you might not be able to distinguish vibrations very well. To cure a cold, go into cure in the survival viewer and take some cold medicine. Those dogs may be highly trained, but you might still be able to distract them by throwing them something tasty to eat. Give it a try. Are you all right? You're not hurt? Snake, you've got an arrow stuck in you. When you get shot with an arrow, your maximum life will go down depending on how bad it is, so watch out. You can let the wound heal naturally, or you can treat it using cure in the survival viewer to make it heal right away. To treat an arrow wound, first use your knife to dig the arrow out. Then disinfect the wound and apply styptic to stop the flow of blood. Once that's all done, the arrow wound should heal right up. Snake, the altitude in those mountains is pretty high. That means the oxygen concentration in the air is lower than normal. When there's less oxygen in the air, naturally you'll be breathing less oxygen as well, and the oxygen content of your blood will go down. In other words, you run the risk of becoming hypoxic. Hypoxia is a very serious condition. In the worst cases, it can lead to pulmonary and cerebral edema. I don't think you need to worry right now, but all the same, be careful. In high-altitude areas, you will tire quicker than normal. Snake, climbing uphill takes a lot of stamina as it is, but on top of that, the air up there is thinner than normal. You're burning through stamina a lot faster now than ever before. Keep an eye on your stamina gauge. Be sure to eat something to restore your stamina before you run out.
Snake, watch out for enemy troops carrying flamethrowers. Under no circumstances should you get close to the flame troops. Either sneak by without being seen or take them out from a distance.
If you get blasted by a flamethrower, your body will catch on fire. If your body catches on fire, either roll around repeatedly to put it out or go into the survival viewer and change out of the burning clothes. When you catch fire, you'll get burned unless you put the flames out quickly, so be sure to extinguish the flames right away, okay? We know that Major Rykov is a glutton. Maybe you could use that to your advantage. Why not give him something rotten to eat and then lay an ambush for him in the toilets? That's good enough. I wonder why that is. Snake, you can't possibly escape in the condition you're in. You'll need to take care of those wounds first. Treat your injuries by going to cure in the survival viewer. You need to build up your stamina before trying to escape. Without your stamina, you won't have the strength to punch and kick. Be sure to eat whatever food the guard brings you. Take a look around the cell. You might be able to find some edible plants or animals. In any case, you've got to eat something to restore your stamina. That's an order. Sleep is another good way to replenish your life and stamina. Save the game and take a break. When you load the game from your save data the next time, you'll recover strength based on how long you've rested. Huh? What do you need to throw up? What in the... Oh... Uh, Nothing. Hey. I think letting the guards see you throw up is a good idea. You can eat something poisonous to give yourself food poisoning. That'll make you throw up after a while. Or you can use a survival viewer to make yourself dizzy. In the survival viewer, press the viewer button to enter viewer mode. Then use the right analog stick to spin your body around. Do that long enough and you'll start to get dizzy. When you're dizzy enough, you'll throw up the moment you exit the survival viewer. Try it out. Snake, now's your chance. Take out the guard and get out of there. The Major's right. You'll burn stamina a lot faster when you're naked. Be sure to eat regularly. Snake, do you have any clothes? So you're still naked. When you don't have any clothes on, your body loses heat quickly. That makes you burn stamina a lot faster. Make sure you keep eating. It doesn't need to be clothes. Anything you have that can cover you up should help you conserve stamina. Yes, sir. It's because Snake's battery uses bioelectricity. Bioelectricity is electricity emitted from cells. When the cells of living things are stimulated, sodium and potassium ions move rapidly through the cell membrane's ion channel, creating a difference in electric potential. The battery uses that energy to recharge. So unless your cells have plenty of nutrients, the recharge won't work well. But this machine has not been made public. It was designed by a scientist at the CIA's Directorate of Science and Technology. The person who designed it? I heard he was pretty strange. There's nothing strange about the Major. Well, not too strange, at least. What about the boss? Doesn't sound like nothing. It has something to do with the boss, but you don't want to say so. I understand, Snake. Wow, is that right? No, not really. I just think it's kind of sweet of you to think like that. It's a compliment, Snake. So tell me, is it true? Not that. Is it true that the boss really worked on research for halo jumps? Allow me to explain. You know how there are animals in nature that play dead, like weevils, ladybugs, chickadees, possums, and the like? Well, the fake death pill takes the natural art of playing dead and applies it to the spy world. When you take the fake death pill, it causes your body to rapidly secrete a number of chemicals, adenosine and serotonin, as well as opioid peptides such as methionine and kethylene. Those chemicals act to induce a state of hibernation, causing your heart rate, your breathing rate, and your body temperature to drop dramatically. It'll truly look like you've dropped dead upon initial inspection. The revival pill, to put it simply, is a counteracting agent to the fake death pill. When you take it, it causes your body to secrete stimulants like noradrenaline and other chemicals such as naloxone, which block the effects of the fake death pill. Basically, it wakes you up. Does that help? Okay, I'll try and explain it in more detail. The secretion of methionine and kethylene triggered by the fake death pill causes the opioid receptors. You sure? But you must want to know a little bit more. There are 3 types of receptors: delta, kappa, and mu. Methionine and kethylene acts on the... But hey, wait a... And James Bond's boss is called M. No one would be that stupid. What in the world did you do? Beats me. Maybe he got a nasty bump on the head. What are you implying? Good point. I was just thinking that myself. Yeah, me too. It's good to see you're back to, normal. Snake, do you know what epinephrine is? Well, do you? Also known as adrenaline? Really? I have. Do you want to hear about it? Oh, I think you should hear about it. So, epinephrine is a type of hormone. It's secreted from the adrenal glands in high-stress situations, like when you're exercising or you're under pressure. The epinephrine is released into the bloodstream and stimulates special receptor cells on various organs throughout the body. This causes the heart to beat faster, the blood vessels to constrict, and the respiratory passages to expand. It also raises blood pressure. You ever notice how you're faster and stronger than normal when you're under stress? That's because of epinephrine, and when you're bleeding, yeah, of course. In the alert phase, your body secretes epinephrine, and so your stamina won't be depleted as fast. There, good thing I told you, huh? What's up? I'm a well-respected physician, or I was until I joined the CIA. My what? Oh, that. Why? Don't you trust me? Fine then. So what? You're relentless. My reputation was spotless. I'm highly skilled, patient, and good-looking to boot. Everybody wanted to see me. What else would you expect? No, seriously. Major. Is what true? No. Well, maybe a few people did call me that. No. Well, yes and no. I mean, in a sense I was, but then again I wasn't. Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say, Snake. Never mind that. It doesn't matter. We've got a job to do and we have to stay focused. Besides, my past doesn't have anything to do with the mission and no, that's not it. Snake, tell him that's not true. Say something. Just a minute. Snake, don't you hang up on me. If you have any questions about stamina or healing, just ask me. I'll tell you everything you need to know. It'll have to be over the radio, though. Yeah, I'm devastated. But I'll bet that 50 years from now, you'll be able to see who you're talking to on the radio. I don't know. Somebody somewhere might just decide to give you a call. Snake, if you or one of your comrades is wounded in battle, what do you usually do? What if there's no medic nearby? Think about it. Me too. So I got to thinking, wouldn't it be great if we could parachute medics into the front lines where they're needed most? Yeah. With a unit like that, we could save a couple of lives, huh? No? Thanks. I think the Army needs a unit like that. And if no one else will do it, I'm going to create one myself. Will you help me? Snake, are you smoking a cigarette? Yes, you are. Same thing. Yeah, whatever. You know something? Well, you don't have a choice. Cigarettes are bad for you. Quiet, you. Smoking is bad for you. In a recent study, scientists found that tobacco smoke is full of carcinogenic substances, like nitrosamines. You know what that means? It means you're going to give yourself lung cancer if you keep on smoking. Oh, give me a break. Do you really believe that? God, you're gullible. You ought to read this year's report from the Surgeon General. It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that smoking causes lung cancer. Pretty soon the whole world will know that smoking is bad for you. Better quit now before it's too late. And don't tell me cigar smoke is harmless because it doesn't go down into your lungs. It just means the cancer shows up in a different place. Got it? Say, Snake, about that helmet and oxygen mask you took off right after you parachuted in? I'm not interested in all that stuff. It reminds me of something. Yeah, but I can't remember what it is, and I can't stop thinking about it. Yeah, every time I'm about to remember it, it slips away from me again. Don't you just hate that? I know I've seen it somewhere before. Any ideas? That's it! The fly! Yeah, it finally came to me. You look just like him. Ah, I feel better. From the movie, The Fly? You've never seen it? Geez, where have you been? It's about this scientist who's conducting teleportation experiments when he gets mixed up with a fly and ends up with the fly's head attached to his body. That's too bad. It's a good movie. I love him. Major Tom? So I heard. Was it what? Right? Maybe. I don't know. Why should I know? Yeah. No. It didn't look interesting. That's right. The fly looked interesting, and it was. Something wrong. Let's see. There's the quartermass experiment, and it conquered the world, and Earth versus the spider. Oh, and Mondo Cane. Did I say something weird? Really? What was all that about doing the thing with your hand on the first round or whatever? By the way, Snake, what was that little lecture back there? You were instructing the GRU commander, weren't you? Something about the first round or his hand? What was that supposed to mean? Uh-huh. And what were you saying about him being more suited to revolvers? What do you mean? Handy? Are you listening to yourself? He's the enemy. Why are you giving him advice? Snake. Snake, are you all right? Hey, that's Keraton. Right there, see it? Right in front of you. That's Keraton. Don't tell me you've never heard of him. Come on, everybody knows about Keraton. Keraton. He's called Keraton. He must be getting popular in the Soviet Union. Not that you know anything about the magic of Keraton. On the other hand, you might be able to use Keraton's power to help you in your mission. Keraton cries when you shake him. If the enemy hears that, they might come to check it out. Maybe you could use it as a diversion. And I hear that if you find all of the carotenes and shake them, something good will happen. Try it out. Yeah? Yeah, it's an anti-anxiety drug related to benzodiazepine. It's a minor tranquilizer used to treat things like depression, autonomic ataxia, and aporioneurosis and things like that. Besides its calming and antidepressant properties, it's also known for its anticonvulsant effect. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. What are you talking about? Oh, I see. That's an interesting idea. I think it might work. Give it a try. Snake, it's so good to hear from you again. 4 days, actually. I visited you in the hospital. You were still unconscious, though. Yeah, but you were all wrapped up in bandages and tubes, so I couldn't do anything but look. Let's hope so. But seriously, don't forget that you were like that until just yesterday. In fact, you really shouldn't even be on this mission. Keep an eye on your stamina gauge. If you start to run low, don't push yourself. Eat something to replenish your stamina. And try not to get yourself hurt. If you're wounded or get bitten by a venomous animal, go into the survival viewer immediately and treat yourself using Cure. You're welcome. And I can see you still don't know when to keep your mouth shut. Yes, there was talk of that, but the mission won't fail, will it? Good. I believe in you. But you know what? I really don't care about my medical license. No, I volunteered. So that I could watch over you. Snake, you're the best agent I've ever seen. But you push yourself too hard. You're reckless. Someone has to stop you from getting into trouble, to make sure you and the boss don't kill each other. So that's why I volunteered. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better guardian angel than me, right? Stop right there. You can thank me when you get back. By the way, Snake, you know the Ocelot unit commander? Yeah, that's not his real name, is it? Is it a code name? Yeah. No, I was just wondering why he's called Ocelot. Well, I looked it up, and it turns out the ocelot is a wild cat whose habitat stretches from the southern U.S. down to northern Argentina. They live in a variety of different environments from tropical rainforests to savannas. The biggest ones can grow up to 1 meter in length. They're normally solitary creatures, and their diet consists mainly of small animals and fish. During the day, they sleep up in the trees, but at night... Oh, right. So the ocelot is an animal that lives on the American continent. But then I wondered, why would a Soviet officer be using the name of an American wildcat? Yeah, maybe you're right. Because I was curious. Was it helpful? The horse the boss was riding sounds like an Andalusian. Andalusians are from the region of Andalusia in Spain. They're renowned for their beauty, their gentle nature, and their physical prowess. Just so you know, you can't eat them. Yeah, but you were going to. Yes. Don't even think about eating a horse. Got it? What did you say? Snake, look at your body. Not there. See the leeches? Yeah, you've got leeches all over you. Leeches will sometimes attach themselves to you if you spend a long time in the water or the swamp. When you've got leeches on you, they'll suck your blood, causing you to lose stamina. You should get rid of them as soon as possible. To get rid of leeches, go into Cure in the survival viewer and press your cigar into them. Or, if you use the insecticidal bug juice ahead of time, the leeches won't bother you as long as the bug juice is in effect. Snake, I looked at your medical record. You've been exposed to an atomic blast? Any symptoms? Yeah. Snake, whatever happens to you, make sure you leave a descendant, okay? No. I'm saying that in the 21st century, the genes of soldiers like you are going to be in high demand. Uh-huh. Remember when Watson and Crick discovered the double helix structure of DNA back in 1953? You know, they won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for it the year before last. Of course, you have to feel sorry for Pauling and Franklin. They were researching the exact same thing. Inside every living creature are little blueprints called genes. Through the union of the sperm and egg cells, these blueprints are transformed and inherited by the next generation. That's why parents and children resemble each other. The concept of genes was first proposed over 100 years ago by Mendel, but he didn't know what they were exactly. For a while, it was thought that chromosomes were composed not of deoxyribonucleic acid, but of proteins called polypeptides. Later, it was shown that deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, was a biological macromolecule. Then 11 years ago, Watson and Crick discovered that DNA had a double helix structure. The inherent characteristics of any given individual are determined by his or her genes. By duplicating a set of superior genes, a separate body with the same set of characteristics, a clone, can be created. That's true, but having an offspring that's genetically identical to the parent is more efficient, right? You can expect better results that way. Maybe, but now that we know the true nature of genes, human cloning is that much closer to reality. Nuclear transplanting is already theoretically possible, so one day, exactly. Just think, even if your body dies, you survive and go on to bigger and better accomplishments. If you think about it, it's kind of an honor. Well, I am a doctor. I can't condone it on moral grounds, but I'm fascinated by the possibilities. Especially when I see such an excellent specimen as yourself. Don't be so glum. It's not like it's going to happen anytime soon. We'll just have to wait and see. You say there are attack dogs? Those attack dogs are Great Danes. The breed is originally from Germany. They've been used for hundreds of years as hunting dogs. As you can see, they're very large, strong too. They've got a calm yet courageous temperament, and on top of that, they're extremely intelligent. In some cases, a trained Great Dane can be more dangerous than a human opponent. Watch out for them. Forget it, Snake. You were thinking about how they taste, weren't you? Don't lie to me. I could tell by the look on your face. No, but I can imagine it. Don't you dare think about trying to capture an attack dog. You hear me? Snake, be careful of those attack dogs. No, you're the one who's dangerous. Those dogs are just innocent animals, even if they've been trained to kill. You shouldn't hurt them unless you have to. You know, humans and dogs have been living together for 50,000 years ever since the Stone Age. Sure, they make good pets and watchdogs, but they also help us out in a variety of different fields. Not just as police and army dogs, but as hunters, shepherds, rescuers, and seeing-eye dogs. They deserve our respect. In the future, many of the jobs that dogs do now will probably be taken over by machines. They'll have miniature unmanned reconnaissance vehicle and security systems. And in the 21st century, I'll bet they'll even be selling robot dogs as pets. But even if that happens, dogs will still be our most trusted companions. Well, for now, trained dogs are the best they've got. How about if you stand in front of the door and perform a ritual dance? That's what they do in Japan when they find a door that won't open. Of course. Then you think of something. Snake Eye. Ah! Hello there? Snake? Oh, it's you. For a minute there, I thought you were someone else. Yeah, but it looks so cool. Cool. You know, kind of like a Venusian. I mean, not the crab kind, the other kind. I know it sounds ridiculous, but still. What if it was a being from another planet? You can't rule out that possibility. Snake, your right eye. The cornea and the lens are severely damaged and the eyeball is ruptured. So, I'm afraid not. I'm sorry, Snake. I wish there was something I could do. I don't doubt you. But don't do anything crazy, okay? From here on, it's going to be difficult to see out of your right eye. Attacking in first-person view will feel a little different from before. Be careful.